Welcome to the Castle Country Real Estate Podcast. This is episode number 8. I'm Josh Madsen from Real Estate Titans here in Price, Utah, and couldn't be more excited to be with you today. So thanks for checking the podcast out as always. And I drop a new episode every Friday. And this is all about Castle Country, Carbon and Emery County here in Utah. What's going on in the market, offering some real estate hot tips for you. And then what's going on locally around town. So I wanted to kick things off as we do every week with the market. What's going on here? How many single family homes are available? And we're just shy of the 90 mark this week. 89 properties are available and active listings on the market, and 10 homes sold in the past 7 days since the last time we did the podcast. So as I've said every week, we sort of hover between this like 87 and 90 properties, and 7 to 10 properties are closing each week. So we're just kind of in this replenishing cycle, and that's something that's really interesting. It'll be interesting to see if more come on the market in the coming months, and that's our hope. Is we want to see more inventory to give buyers the ability to have more to look at. And obviously sellers are kind of in the same boat, especially if you're staying here locally. You want to have more options. So that kind of draws us right into like what is going on in the market. And there's a couple things I wanted to share. Just general market statistics for Utah just came out this past week. Kind of wanted to share a little bit about that. First thing is the median days on market is up to 15. So I believe this is up from 9 last month. And what does that mean? It means homes are sitting there longer. We've talked about that on the podcast the past few weeks. As interest rates have gone up, even though there's more inventory on the market, we're seeing homes sit for a little bit longer. So I think I haven't seen it. Last year was like 2 days on the market, to give you a point of reference. And now we're seeing stuff be on the market for 15 days. I would expect that to continue to go up. And sellers are going to have to start understanding their properties might be on the market for 30 days, 60 days, even 90 days before they sell. Very important thing to think about if you're a seller, if you are thinking about getting it, is putting that timeline together, talking to a real estate professional like myself, and kind of getting a good marketing plan to make sure that your house sticks out above the rest. So what else is going on locally? Well, and this is Utah too. So I'm kind of giving Utah wide right now, and then we'll talk a little bit about how that applies to here. So the median price per square foot, and this is a lot of this is on the front range, is about $233. So the reason I'm giving you these statistics is because it's just important to kind of know what's going on the front side of the Wasatch, as well as where we're at here. Price per square foot is definitely not that high here, but it's higher than it ever has been. And I think a common question that I'm getting from people locally here in Carbon and Emery County is, how can the prices possibly be like this now? They've got to go down. I would disagree with that. And I'll tell you why. And there's a really good piece that just came out on KSL today, if you'd like to go check that out, and I can link it in the notes as well. It talks about what economists are seeing locally here with Utah, and this is nationwide as well. But what people don't realize is since the 2008 recession, the Great Recession, home builders really stopped making houses at the level that they should. And so we're in a deficit of housing in the market. And so as more millennials are starting to get into the market, especially just adding to people that want to have their own home, there's just not enough houses. And so now we're coming out of the COVID situation where there was sort of this frenzy to buy houses. Interest rates were like as low as 2.5%, 3%, and everybody was buying houses as quickly as they could because there was availability and it was at a low interest rate. And so now as we're kind of coming out of that, interest rates are going up between 5 and 6% now. There's a little more supply like we talked about, but new homes, because of the inflation, that's going on in the country and the price of materials still being pretty high, is now they're starting to make less homes again. And so now we're kind of heading into this marketplace where there's more inventory that's sitting for longer, but there's still not enough houses for the people that want them. That's a really interesting situation. So what does that mean for us here in Carbon and Emery County is we need more housing too. It's a very important thing. And for the people that are asking these questions, like how can the prices be so high? It's simple supply and demand. Basically, there's not enough supply to meet the demand, and that keeps the prices at the level they're at. So I know this came about, a lot of people are getting their property taxes for the year and they're seeing the assessed values and stuff. This is what's going on is you're looking at houses valuating for much more than they have in the past. So just keep that in mind. And that's really what's going on. Houses are going to sit on the market a little longer. There's more inventory than there was, but there's still a shortage. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. So every week I like to give a little real estate hot tip. And really my hot tip today, it's a good time to buy a house. And I'm going to keep it pretty simple this week is a lot of people have stayed out of the market for various reasons over the past couple years. And I totally understand. People didn't want to get in a multiple offer situation. Maybe they didn't know where they were going to move to. But especially on the buyer's side, people kept holding out thinking, no, there's a bubble. It's going to burst. What I was just explaining with the market statistics, this is very data-based, and that's why I want to share it with you, is there's just not enough housing. So it's creating this supply-demand issue. It's driving prices up. So when people ask, should I buy a house? Should I get into the market? It's a good time to get into the market. Interest rates are relatively low. But here's the bigger factor. If we look at prices 1 year from now, we're probably still going to see a 10% or high single-digit price increase. So if you're on the fence about whether you should get into the market, my suggestion is yes. And I get it. I'm a realtor. Of course, I want to help you get into a house. But I'm just trying to give you the lay of the land and what's going on. So that's the hot tip for the week. If you're on the fence, you're not sure, go get a pre-qualification letter if you're looking at buying and give me a call and I can kind of walk you through and we can look at stuff. And I'm happy to provide any of the statistics that I'm talking about here and we can do it in a more formal sense on a one-on-one level that'll hopefully help you out and know whether it's the right decision for you. As far as selling goes, like I said, there's a deficit. So if you have a home to sell, you might have to wait a little bit longer than selling it within 2 days like the last 2 years. But I really think it's still a great time to sell because people are looking for homes. So to wrap things up today, I always like to talk about what's going on in the community. A lot of what I've brought up in the past weeks are things going on in Helper and Price. I wanted to talk about Farron and Peach Days. That's coming up. I believe it starts next Tuesday and I think goes on into the weekend. You can check that out. It's a cool little town that is about 45 minutes from Price. I love it out there. Millsite golf course is out there. And there's a lot of cool things that you could do and kind of build around that event as well. So I really appreciate you checking out the real estate Castle Country Real Estate Podcast today. Like I said, every Friday I'll drop a new episode. But in the meantime, you can reach out to me directly. Shoot me a text or a phone call, 801-388-4047. You can find me on Instagram at madsen.team, MADSEN.team, and as well as on Facebook. And you can find my Google reviews online with past customers and see what kind of an experience they had. But I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you enjoy the long holiday weekend, and I'll see you next Friday.